Welcome to Love You Bro Podcast. I am your host, Jude Davella, and tonight you can see my baby brother is back. Bam.
Back in the studio. What it do?
Yeah, man. Good to have you back, bro. I know you got a lot going on, especially right now with school starting.
Yeah.
And the girls, man, my nieces, I know you got a lot to do. A plate's kind of full with the girls on your hands.
Yeah, man. I've missed it though, man. I've missed it, but you've held it down and did work. So I appreciate that as well. But yeah, a lot going on. Start school year.
Man, we're super excited to have you obviously back in the saddle with us, bro. Like I said, this show rocks with you and I together, but sometimes we'll hold it down. Sometimes we'll bring Buck on and we'll just keep rocking this thing, man.
Absolutely.
Everything as you guys continue to watch us and stuff, and our subscribers and our growers, people continue to grow and watch us, they'll see, our production team, man, our new social media team that's jumped in, that's helping out. A lot of work is going into this. So we thank you guys and we thank our listeners
1,000.
and subscribers. So please, guys, follow us on X, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram. We've had a lot of great episodes, a lot of great ones coming up. Today, we just confirmed and locked down. We got Billy Moss and Tim Grunhard coming on next week.
Billy Bob and Timmy G. I mean, that's like, I'm so stoked. We got confirmation. That's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to have them on. That's going to be, God, I don't know. We'll have some fun.
Just a wealth of knowledge, man. Those are two guys you could sit. You and I have sat before. We've been with Billy or we've been with Timmy, and they're telling stories or they're telling stuff in the locker room, and that's just that raw stuff that a lot of people don't get. You don't get to hear because when they go on a radio, there's only so much they can say or so many things they can talk about. But being on a podcast, they can talk a little bit more and tell some of their experiences, some of the stuff they've seen.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's awesome. I'm stoked that they're going to be on. Can't wait. That'll be a lot of fun, and a lot of fun just to get some inside stuff, and my brain's already churning about just stuff from the huge fight that Billy was in against the fucking Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders, man. How we long with all those guys.
Tearing helmets off but it'll be a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to go back with them, and you talk about two iconic Chiefs that love Kansas City and rep Kansas City so incredibly hard, and have made their homes in Kansas City. So they're all about it. So and they're so gracious to come on and give us their time. But can't wait to have them and look forward to it.
Yeah, two great guys. Like I said, both those guys are Chiefs legends. And what they do by just living here in the community. And they love being at the stadium watching the games and stuff. I love listening to their take, on 810 when they come on the radio and stuff. So super excited about Billy and Timmy coming on next week.
For sure.
All right, well, listen, welcome back, bro. We're going to jump right into this because there's so much to talk about. We started talking from episode 1. Bro, when we started doing this and we brought on Brian McCray and we started talking about the Royals, we talked about them. Are they going to be relevant come July? Are they going to be relevant at the All-Star break? Are they going to be relevant in August? And then we talked about how cool would it be if the Chiefs start off, which they're 2-0. We'll get into those guys later, second part of our show. And then we started talking about if the Royals and Chiefs are relevant. And before we just dive into the Royals, I want to ask you a question because I heard this today. And not even a question, but just get your thoughts on. They were saying that if the Royals, I know we're 4.5 back or 4 back from Cleveland right now.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. But if if the Royals win the division, game that 2 Monday, of the ALDS,
that Monday,
October 7th, they would be like the noon game, and then you would just roll out of there and roll over to Arrowhead for Monday Night Football against the Saints.
That's not even, realistically, how many drunk assholes will be out there, dude? They'll just scoop them up off the Royals game and plop them up on a broom like Weekend at Bernie's for the cheesecake. No, but that would be historic. And I can't remember, but I think in 88 there was something similar to a Sunday and then the playoffs. It was like the Chiefs played Sunday, and then remember Nick Charles? He was a sports guy, but I remember him on the sideline of the Chiefs game, but he was doing the baseball for the playoffs. So, but something similar. But dude, if that first of all, that would be amazing if we could come from where we are. Like I said, anything could happen, but that would be one of the most iconic, historic sports day in Kansas City
history.
And you know that once again, I don't even know how that city no one would work that day. No one would work that
Everything
day.
would be shut
and probably
down.
They wouldn't work Tuesday either.
No.
So it's like it would be, but that would be so incredibly cool. And the fact that the Royals are still fighting and playing tough. And what's crazy is To me, what's crazy is when Vinny went down, I was like, fuck, man, that's it. It's a guy in the middle of your lineup, you know, third at 94 RBIs or whatever he had. I was like, that sucked. But they managed to go get Gurriel, who's 40.
Yeah. I was when they went to go get Gurriel, I was a little bit like, okay, we're reaching now because this dude's 40 years old.
No, but he can still play. I mean, he can still. Now he's not Vinny, but the dude was Gold Glove in what 2-3 years ago, got first base, and then Tommy Pham has been like he has been that dude. He's been really solid. And it's Piccolo was on the other day, and he said they had an eye on the deadline, and the Cardinals. I always bust on the dead birds. But he went to them and said, look, they were kind of out of it after they signed him to try to make a push to get there. And they gave him his release. They gave him his release, which was really cool for them. I talk a lot of shit on them, or statements. But with that being said, he was able to come to Kansas City. And so Piccolo was like, as soon as it happened, he goes, Hosmer texted him, and he's like, great fucking signing. He was like that, because Hosmer had played with him prior. I think maybe with the Padres, but he's he'll slap the fuck out of you for fantasy football.
He's been awesome to get on there. And I won't forget that, when they went on that 7-game losing streak, and it was that Friday against the Astros is what kind of spiraled stuff just out of control. And I was like,
that was tough.
And I think you would text me, because I wasn't watching the game at the time, and I think you would text me, and the game was close. We were within a run, and all I kept hearing was, God, if Ursing just would have let the ball go, Witt could have got it, stepped on second, made a double play.
I called you over. I called you immediately. I did, because it was one of those things. Like I said, Massey's on second. It's going to go to him, double play. You go up 2-1 to the ninth, and then Ursay comes back. And that, some guys on the radio, and it was all over X, was that what's a more disastrous play that's happened in history. So you look, for Kansas City, and that just because then they that errant throw, they come back and score to tie it. Vinny breaks his thumb, and Ursay his hand, and he missed some time.
God, man, it was
tough. But they rebounded, man, and they wrote the ship, if you will, and they and where they are now, they're still playing. As I said, it's what's crazy is that it's that fun. If you're in a restaurant, you're in a bar, everyone's kind of watching to see what's going on, and collectively, and you guys were at Barrio the other night, and you guys collectively, everyone's like, when it's cool, and it's like it hasn't been that in 10 years since 14-15, where people are engaged and want to. The other night. There's multiple things going on, but people at the, they want to have the Royals on when there's college football. And it's like, obviously the Chiefs, with what they've done, they take precedent, but still people are dialed into what's going on and can't wait for tonight. Can't wait for, that's a huge series they got, right?
Everybody you talk to, everybody you listen to, they're always like, and you didn't hear this for the last years because obviously they weren't relevant, but everybody's like, I had this to do. I was taking the kids here. I had the game on the radio, or I'm watching the game on my phone on my kid's soccer game. Everybody's wanting to know where the Royals are. I mean, every morning I get up, I go click on MLB standings. Every morning I wake up, I go click on the wild card race, and I go see exactly where we are. I mean, they're only 2 behind Baltimore. We could get that 1 wild card and host 3 playoff games here, which would be insane, man. With the Chiefs starting off and the Royals,
that would be incredible. And what's hilarious is our friend Jonesy, Chris Jones, is the biggest Royals fan, and that dude will listen and watch. He was like, "Mom, Dad would be like, Mom would they'd be down like 12-1, Mom like, let's leave it on.
Leave it on. I want to watch the game. I want to watch the full game."
And it's like, but Jonesy's that fan, and he's just so excited. He's like. I am just counting. I mean, he'll text that and I don't know if he's got the subscription, whatever he has, but he watches all of it, and it's like, no, it's awesome that they're hanging. And like I said, if you get in a 3-game series, and I didn't know, I'm serious, I didn't know that all 3 are at the opposing teams.
When did you figure that out? You just figured out a conversation the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because somebody said that, and you were like, no, you and Vinny and I, the 3 of us, our cousin Vinny. Shout out to our cousin Vinny. Jessica and I went and had dinner at Cafe Trio on Friday night. And awesome. If you guys have not been to Cafe Trio, and Vinny, don't think just because I'm saying this right now, because you're my cousin, but the food You killed it there. It was awesome. And Cafe Trio, we're coming after you to be one of our sponsors too. So that's exactly why you're on this episode. Yeah. No, but the food was awesome. We went there. But remember, you and Vinny and I were watching the Canelo fight on Saturday, and he was saying that if we go on the road, it's 3 road games.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's a really weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
understand that.
I mean, because there's other, I don't know. That's weird to me that you have to play.
So obviously they just did that with adding a playoff team, right? When they added a new playoff team, that was a deal.
I guess, but I mean, I just didn't. Well, I guess we have been so relevant that I haven't paid attention close enough to know that that's the thing. But yeah, I mean, that would be awesome to get that, that top wild card, so you don't have to do that. But once again, if you're looking down and you got Lugo, who. Talk about a guy that everyone was talking, including myself, like kind of hit his wall. And last week he went and put that performance against the Yankees. That shit was lights out, dude.
That was something special.
And even Boone commented and said that was the best stuff we've seen all year.
That's and once crazy, again, man. Yeah, and once
crazy. Again, he's not Skeens hitting 102 on the gun. He's not blowing
he's got 9
away.
pitches.
Yeah.
He's got 9 pitches.
And he calls his own game. He calls his own game, which is crazy. He calls his own game. But Boone, and I was like, I just kept waiting for the other shoe drop, except they're going to get to him. And he just had Soto, Judge.
Yeah. There was a couple times he made Judge look foolish on some sliders, which you can do every now and then. But that to me, Judge looks like Drago out there, bro. The way he goes through a season, man, that guy the way he plays the outfield and runs and goes and gets balls and does stuff. But Lugo, bro, put it on last week.
I think it was a third time through the lineup when fucking Glaber struck out, and he was pissed like at himself. Yeah. But he was just like, what the f, man? And he threw his helmet and it was like, and he struck out with that, off the. It's like he was done, and his batting gloves thrown off, and it was like he's like, dude, because once again, if you see a guy like that, you're not like he's gonna blow you away with nasty, man. Just up and in at 98, like. No,
he went 7 and struck out 10, and then for the night, the guys who threw the 8th and 9th, they were like through 9 innings, the Royals gave up 5 hits, walked nobody, struck out 14. Yeah, against that lineup.
Yeah, it's just fun, man. It really is. It's fun, and now they can kind of like I said, they got to finish, but I forgot what their rate was. The percentage-wise, what they could fit, what they're to make the playoffs, but they should, unless the wheels fall off or something catastrophic. They should.
It's 84 and 68 coming in tonight. Yeah. They got 3 at home with Detroit,
which is huge.
Then they got off day Thursday, 3 with the Giants, and then we're at the Nationals for 3 at the Braves. Which that's so weird to me. Your last 6 games, we're at the Nationals and at the Braves. Like
National mailed it in, so I'm fine with that. The Braves are fighting for their lives.
But I just figured you would have 3 or 6 of those games against the Twins and the Guardians or Detroit. I know we got 3 with Detroit, but that's where I always thought the season kind of finished out. But this year,
it's so important, bro. Tonight to get tonight and get tomorrow night.
Who's on the hill tonight?
Well, Scooble throws Wednesday, and we ain't beating Scooble. Like he is.
Who's throwing for us tonight? Who's on the hill tonight?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they adjusted to be out. I should know that, but I'm not sure. But they got to get tonight and tomorrow night for sure, and then see. Wednesday.
You got. I mean, to me, you got to take 2 or 3. I'm on the way out the door right now. If you want to be there, Now I see now the Guardians and the Twins are in a 4-game series starting today. The next 4 nights. Yeah. Do you know if it's in Cleveland or
I think
Minnesota?
it's in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I think but that's a big one.
It's a huge series, man.
Once again, it's just fun what these guys are doing, and it's once again, if you would have asked me, and in 8, last. Being in April, hey, I'm like, dude, no. They spent some money and good for them. But to be, they kind of have a salty team.
It's real salty, man.
It's one of those teams. Like if you're the Chiefs, like a Chiefs, and they're the top echelon of the NFL. But there's still teams I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them if that happens. But everyone's like, they don't want to see the Royals. They don't want to see the Royals.
No, man.
They have Raggins, who is a top 8 pitcher, 5 pitcher in the league.
Well, you talk. Look at this. You talk about right now. We're 2 games behind Baltimore. We're 84 and 68. 2 games behind Baltimore. Even if we had to go to Baltimore doesn't want to see Lugo, Reagans, Waka. I mean, that's not. And then you throw Singer in the bullpen. Maybe Michael Lorenzen goes to the bullpen.
Hopefully Lorenzen's back.
Yeah. Hopefully he's back, and then maybe you
once
got
again, big game, big league, big game experience. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some big time guys there, and the bullpen. For that playoff run. But I mean, just so fun to watch, man, because it's been years again since we've been waiting for the Royals to do this.
Yeah. And look at Piccolo, bro. Like what I was saying earlier, is the pieces that he added. The pieces he added to the clubhouse, they've said, or you can't measure it by what their statistics are, even though Phom's hitting the shit out of the ball.
Right.
Or he's getting on every night. He's doing really well. But fam, he played in the World Series with the Diamondbacks.
He's that leadoff we didn't have.
He played in the World Series. Grossman, World Series last year with the Rangers.
Right.
So you're talking about bringing guys to the clubhouse that have this, that can talk to these dudes. And they had Hosmer on last week on the radio. He was saying how important it was for the dudes when they were in 14, 15, who had been the Josh Willinghams, the guys that had been in the postseason. Tell them exactly what to expect, how to expect it, what it means, the cameras, the microphone, just what it is. But great guys having Gurriel, World Series winner. And I mean, those are all guys in your clubhouse that you add to a salvi that just, they have a presence over it that, this is what to expect. Those young guys look up to that. Yeah. And why would you not? And it's a clubhouse that once again,
shout out to those guys, man. Hosmer and those guys have, I think it's Hosmer, Mustagas. I've got to go and double check myself. It's called something, digging. I kept digging deep.
Yeah.
Something.
No, it's a good podcast.
It's a great podcast.
And they get awesome dudes on. And Hosmer and Mustagas, those guys, I mean, great dudes on and off the field.
Great guys.
Mean, it was before Mahomes, Hosmer, he had the Hosmer cut. All the kids in the city wanted Hosmer.
Everyone wanted the Hos, man.
Yeah, everyone wanted the Hosmer cut, and that's what they were doing. And so
I'm hoping our boy D-Bonds gives me some contact information because he's dialed into all the Royals. He was there, cutting their hair back.
Speaking of my dude, man, I miss not being here with D-Bonds, man. I really did. And I listened to it, and he was like, man, I was kind of wishing he was here. That's my guy, man.
Yeah.
I missed that I wasn't on with D-Bonds. But I saw a commercial the other day.
Community America.
Yeah.
He's on
he looked clean. He's the other side of the pillow as per usual, man. I'm like, all right.
D-Bonds doing his thing. So it's great he came on our show. But yeah, D-Bonds has some of those deep ties with some of those guys too in the Royals on the baseball side. So I reached out to him and said, hey, man, I want you to reach out to Haas. I'd love to have Haas on. George Brett was on their podcast with Haas Mustakas. Man, told the great story about him and Nettles and stuff. So there's some guys we want to bring on. I'd love for George to come on our show, man.
No, that'd be awesome. But they had, so the other day, they had, when Haas was on, he was, so they were like, tell a story, get interesting story there. So he goes, in 14, they had won that game against Oakland, and they were flying to Anaheim.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Anaheim was the 1 seed at that time.
So he's like, we're flying to Anaheim.
Right.
He goes, we get there about 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. He goes, who was it that just had a baby? Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe Ibanez. And he goes that like a baby. He was on the family bus or chartered to go there.
Yeah.
So he goes, the baby's crying. He goes, it's like, crying and won't stop. And it's like, so he goes, Ibanez goes to the back of the bus and almost like takes the baby into the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like, cause he's like, it's noisy for everyone else. So he goes, he comes out and he goes, Gerard Dyson comes up and he's like, give me that baby, and takes the baby. And he goes, within 2 minutes, Gerard had rocked the baby to sleep.
He said, give me that baby.
He's like, give me that baby.
Give me that baby.
And he goes, Gerard put that baby up there and was rocking.
That's
he's like,
what speed do.
He goes, he put him to sleep. He put the baby to sleep. And it was like, he goes, obviously everyone erupted laughing. He goes, that's a memory that, he goes, give me that baby.
Of course, man.
And put him to sleep.
Those are the things you miss about sports so much is the camaraderie that you have with your guys. And, guys that miss playing, you miss the game, but man, you miss the stuff with your teammates, the stories, the things you go through, especially in baseball. You're playing 162 games. You guys are on the road. Like those 25 guys, that's who you with.
Yeah. No, it's great. And last Sunday I took the girls. I was like, you know what? It was a beautiful day. It was gorgeous. So I took the girls.
Right? Twins game?
Yeah. Yep. I took the girls. And I was like, let's go. You want to go? And they were like, yeah. And so I knew I was going to spend most of the game in the outfield on the carousel and all that other stuff. But I was like, I told them before going in, I was like, hey, Dad needs 3 innings. I go 3 innings. So give me 3 innings and we'll go out there and do all that stuff.
Right.
So, but they were great and they watched it. It was an awesome day and the crowd was awesome. And it gave me those feels and those vibes of like 2014, just how the crowd was. And it's just a really happy place of like, it really, really, really great. But anyway, after the show or after the game, I called into Josh Vernier's show. Josh is awesome, dude. He is great.
He's good.
And I called in and I was the second guy. I was like, and I called him. I was like, man, I go, first of all, because he's a gem for Kansas City. That dude is solid.
Yep.
He is really, really good at what he does. So shout out to Josh. But I said, you know what, Josh, I go, a comparison is these guys play for one another. And he goes, he's like, Jamie, that is incredible that you said that. He goes, absolutely. And he brought it up the next day when he was on one of the radio shows. I don't know if it was 690, but he was like a caller. It's like to start. It's like he goes, it is very true. They play for one another, and they don't care about stats. They don't care about what they do.
They just want to win.
They want to win, pick each other up, and it's like it's just, and that's an amazing thing because there's not a lot of clubhouses. They can claim they're that way, but you can feel it and see it, and it's like the happiness, enjoyment. If Bobby Witt's not doing it, it's a 9-hitter, Isabel doing it, they're just as happy seeing Isabel do it and are stoked for him than they are if they hit a bomb.
It reminds you a lot of the 14 team. If you remember the 14 team, when we were playing some of those playoff games, our guys are like at the top of the stairs, top of the dugout, like they are during the college games. Like the college games, those kids aren't getting paid. Well, NIL stuff now, but the college kids are, man, all they want to do is just win, move on, get to the College World Series. And that College World Series, that vibe, that energy is what our 14 team had because everybody's playing together. All they want to do is win. And you see that with these guys right now. We went up against New York. The game was neck and neck for 7 innings in game 1. And then those guys, they pounded us the last couple down the stretch. Second game, we got them when Lugo stuck it to them. And then the third game, we took it to extra innings. But we had a bunch of guys that are just, they're not these household names of Soto, Judge, Gleyber Torres, Stanton.
It's funny because
we competed with them, man.
What was funny is like you were like, I called you that night. It was the night of the debate when I called because I was like, dude, do you keep Urseg? And you were like, dude, I would have went with Urseg. He's only 26 pitches. I was Wednesday because I had the day off Thursday. And it was like, do you keep him or do you? And I was like, man, I don't. He's so important and he's so vital because he's absolutely filthy.
He was filthy in the 8th and 9th. I think. And so here's my deal. When we went up in the 10th, we went up 4-3 and we scored on that pass ball. Me personally, 26 pitches, you're going to be off on Thursday. I would have told myself as Quantrero, I would have been like, okay, Thursday we're off. We'll lose them for Friday. If we need them Saturday, Sunday, we got them.
Yeah.
And I think I would went out. I would have went out.
Yeah. And I just, and I was like, no, man. But that, well, I mean, they had opportunities, Bobby striking out with the guy, on second, not was put in play. But no, they had opportunities. But yeah, I mean, but anyway, once again, they were so close. They're super entertaining. And like I said, they went and they jumped on Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh threw. Skeens did not pitch, but the 3 dudes that they pitched all had ERAs under 4.
Right.
I mean, they're all studs. They're all young kids that can deal, not Skeens, but kids that were highly regarded pitching prospects. That Pittsburgh's going to be good, and then get some sticks because they've drafted well.
They jumped on them Friday and Saturday. They jumped on good.
And that stuff. And like I said, it's exciting what they're doing, man. I can't wait to see where it ends. I'm stoked not right now, dude. The whole city is watching. People are like, I've had multiple people say, oh, we just got Bally's now. I mean, now it's like, now we're paying it because you're not, I'm like, you can listen, that's great, but it's like, I'm paying the $20 for the last 12, 15 games. Well, why would you not?
Why would you not
play up? Now, you wouldn't do it if they're trash and they're.
I literally the Wednesday night game against the Yankees. I was home and I forgot what I was doing. You and I have been talking, and so I look on there and I'm following the whole game on the scoreboard on my phone. So I'm following it. So I see that we tied up. I'm like, man, I'm going to go over to one of our sponsors, go over to see Becky for Duke and Bobby Baker's. So I ran to Bobby's, man. Yeah. I went in there, had me a nice tequila on the rocks. I sat there.
I love Becky,
and I watched it. Yeah, Becky. Shout out to her and
absolutely,
and Bobby Baker's,
man. Bobby's absolutely. Well, we'll need to pull up there and we'll catch a game.
Yeah, we're gonna have to catch one of the playoffs.
Yeah, out there for sure, man.
And just kind of see what's going on with that. Like I said, this is gonna be crazy. These next 12 games here down the stretch are gonna be exciting to watch. I'm gonna be anxious to see what Quintero does with our pitching staff.
Yeah.
See what he does here down the stretch. See how Bobby plays. Salvy's starting to heat up, man. He had another big weekend. Had a big 3 days in New York.
He's just a fucking monster.
Yeah,
man. He
had a big 3. He had a big 3 nights in. He had a big 3 nights in New York, man.
Dude, that was his stage. He loves that. And you know what? And what's crazy? I'll say this real quick. What's crazy is last year they were going to deal him to the Marlins. And
huge mistake if they'd have done that.
Well, you say that, but we were so fucking bad, bro. That I mean, I was like, get prospects, but it was a deal, and he agreed to it.
Right.
But it's a deal, and when they asked Piccolo about that about 2-3 weeks ago, it was like some deals, the best deals you ever make are the deals you don't make.
Right.
But no one saw this coming. I mean, no one saw how bad we've been and how it was. I mean, it was bad, bro. Like it was.
They were talking on the radio today. And I think it might have been Petro on A10 this afternoon. And he goes, when the schedule makers were making the NFL schedule, they weren't thinking, oh, we can't do that on Monday Night Football with the Chiefs because the Royals might be the division winners of the Central. He goes, so nobody was thinking, oh, we're going to have issues with, Kansas City having the Royals and the Chiefs in the playoffs and doing this stuff.
Like I said, Blue October, man, or nothing better. That really was captivated me. I was so little back in 88, I couldn't respect it or appreciate it, should I say.
85, you mean 85? 85.
Yes, 85. I'm sorry. I think I said 88 earlier. But 85, I wasn't old enough to appreciate it.
Right.
But when it happened in 14, it was some of the coolest times of my life and just what that meant in October baseball, being like, this is so sick and so fun.
14 and 15, we were blessed to spend some playoff games out there at
World Series
Kauffman,
games, man.
Spent some World Series games out there. We saw them against the Giants, saw them against the Mets. I know I was able to take Carly to the Baltimore, the Game 4 series when we closed it out here.
Yeah. I was at that. I was with our boy Paulie Shoulder.
Yeah. That was
man. So with that being said, I cannot wait, dude. With Chief stuff that we got to get into, there is so much to unfold, so much to talk about, so much to
a lot of Chief stuff to unfold, man. Shout out to my boy. I'm wearing one of these lids today from Homebred Legends. My boy Eric Jones. Shout out to Eric Jones. Went to his pop up last week.
What up, EJ?
Ran into some of my guys. Eric and Kumar and Harry, guys that surround Travis and work as part of his team, as Team Kelsey. And so it was good to run into those guys. Went to his pop-up and grabbed a hat. So listen, the second part of our show tonight, man, we're going to get in on all Chiefs. We're going to talk the 2-0 start. We're going to talk to injuries, man, to Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, which we found today, which, God, that sucks, man. One of the first things we said this year was the only thing that can derail this team from a three-peat is injuries. And unfortunately, we've got 2 big ones on our hands right now. But we'll take a break, man. And when we get back, we'll do second half and start talking about the Chiefs and recap that, brother.
Perfect.
Here at Love You Bro Podcast, we'd like to give a special thanks and a special shout out to our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we're not able to do what we want to do, and that's be able to come on every week and talk about sports, drink a few beers, have some great guests on, some great co-hosts. So I want to give a shout out and a thanks to our sponsors, and our main sponsor that is sponsoring us this year is Proactive Solutions. So we'd like to thank Proactive Solutions. Proactive Solutions has been delivering infrastructure solutions and IT design and consultation services to clients ranging from startups, Fortune 500 companies for more than 27 years. They're proud to be a Kansas City locally owned and a top woman-owned business, offering custom solutions and personalized support. You can trust Proactive Solutions with all your technology needs. If your company needs IT solutions, reach out to Proactive Solutions at www.proactivesolutions.com. So shout out to Natalie and Dean Thede. Thank you guys for allowing us to be able to do this every week. We're super excited about that. I want to give a special shout out to Specialized Printing. My bonus son, Tommy O'Donnell, does awesome work over there. They do T-shirts, they do koozies, they do hats. And one of the big things is, like, some of our friends and family that we've been seeing around have been asking us about when's the merch dropping. So merch is coming, soon. Please follow us on our podcast. We're going to be dropping some trucker hats, all different colors. For our college kids, I know we're going to come out with some K-State hats, some Mizzou hats, and some, of course, our Kansas Jayhawk hats. So we'll have some really cool Love You Brew, Love You Brew. We do love the brew, don't we? Love You Bro merchandise. So Tommy will be doing all that. Check out Specialized Printing and everything he does over there. Another shout out goes goes to Lula Southern Cookhouse, Brittany and Bradley Gilmore. Thank you guys for allowing us to shoot in this super cool space. Everybody who's come on and shot an episode with us up here really loves the space. It's a great event space. Stay tuned because we are getting married here coming up soon. My lovely fiance over there and myself, and you never know if we might just throw some pop-up party here, maybe, babe, here in the event space. Maybe. Okay. All right. We're not going to talk about that. So, Lula, thank you. Brittany and Bradley Gilmore, thank you guys for allowing us to do this up here. Our two sponsors for tonight's episode and bringing on a special friend of ours, Tom Bucati, the Wolf of Waldo. A special shout out goes to Bobby Baker's Lounge. Bobby Baker's Lounge was started in 1993 by Bobby Baker, good friend of ours. It was started off by Bobby Baker himself with a long history of family in the business. His father, John Baker, helped him find his path as a bar owner. In 2013, his daughter, Becky, purchased from him as he retired into the Golden Sunset. The 900 square foot dive bar has become a staple in Waldo since the day it opened. Says right here, Bobby Baker's is huge supporters of all firefighters and police officers. So Bobby Baker's wants to give a big shout out to all firefighters and police officers and say thank you. We appreciate everything you guys do day in and day out to keep us safe in the community. Becky, thank you so much for being a sponsor. Again, without our sponsors, we don't get to do what we want to do the most, and that's bring Love You Bro podcast to you. Our other great sponsor today is our good friend Brian Shorgle, one of Tom Bucati's best friends. Shout out to Brian. You've always been great and by our side, Jamie and I, to, support whenever we've asked, whenever we needed. So O'Neill's, it's a neighborhood restaurant and bar located at 9417 Mission Road. O'Neill's was incorporated in 1999. And has been serving up comfort food classics like Irish pot roast, in-house breaded fish and chips, homemade soups, and many other classics that make O'Neill's a local favorite. I know Shorgle's throwing some great parties over there. I know Tom frequents it. Jessica and I go there. Back in the day, I know we used to take my mom and dad over there for steak night over there. Starting in October, O'Neill's will be kicking off its 25-year anniversary celebration with special promotions and events that will last through March. They can be found on the internet at kconeils.com. So for more details, go there. And as Brian always says, go Chiefs, go Royals, go Tigers, go Hawks, go K-State Wildcats. So Brian Shorgle, O'Neill's, thank you so much for being a sponsor tonight. We really appreciate it. Becky, thank you so much for the sponsorship from Bobby Baker's. You guys, get out to O'Neill's, get out to Bobby Baker's. Without places like this, you guys, we can't do what we do. So again, thank you for following us on Love You Bro podcast, and please tune in and follow us on all of our social media outlets. So thank you so much to our sponsors for helping us bring it to you every week. All right, bro. So first half of the show, man, we got to talk a little bit about the Royals, and at the break, man, we got a chance to kind of take a look at the phone and find out that Witt just went yard in the bottom of the fourth, 32nd of the year grand slam. Royals up 4-0. And the Twins are up on the Guardians, 3-1 on the top of the sixth. So we want to look at the phone the rest of the time, and hopefully that plays out the way we want it to play out tonight. But, man, it's been a while since you've been here, bro. So let's get in and talk about where the Chiefs are right now, when the beginning of the season started. One of the biggest things we talked about was the only thing that could really derail this team, we thought, would be injuries from them making a three-peat. You talk about any injuries to the quarterback position, Kelsey, O-line. I mean, a lot of big pieces there, but Hollywood Brown, we lose first play of the preseason game.
First catch.
First catch of the preseason game. And we're thinking he's 3-4 weeks he's going to be back. That's what Tyreek, when Tyreek went through it. And now all of a sudden they go and take a look at the third MRI last week and say he could be gone for the season. That's tough, man. That's a tough piece to lose.
That was disappointing, and sad for him. And for obviously, health and, that stuff comes first before. But, yeah, that hurts big time. But you got to kind of next man up. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, that is definitely something that could derail our, chase for the three-peat. And then the Pacheco thing, it hurts. It hurts like man. That. Like he's obviously, and he had a big game yesterday. He probably could have toted it a few more times.
Yeah, he was like 15 carries, 90 yards last night when he got hurt on that last part of that last drive.
Yeah.
Dude, the Pacheco one, I think. I mean, obviously the Hollywood Brown hurts us, but we hadn't played with him yet this year. He looked great in training camp. I mean, I was up at training camp probably 7-8 times during training camp. And Hollywood, I know he just worked so hard in the offseason, man. He was putting in the time with Mahomes, and he was down there in Dallas with them, working with the other receivers and learning the playbook. And you just feel so bad for a guy like that because he was so excited to come here and see what he could do, having a real quarterback throw the ball to him, man.
Well, but yes, that's true. But Kyler balled out yesterday, and Harrison had a monster game. He had like 2 touchdowns, 130 yards in the first half.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yes, and you know, for me personally, being, you know, Chiefs fan, I am, like, it was tight to get someone who was a 1,000-yard receiver last year into this offense at not. So, but it's NFL. I mean, you know, it's kind of like the Royals losing, but you gotta. I know it's cliche and it's stupid, but next man up, and you know they'll find a way that running back wise, you know, it's Carson Steele. You know, I mean, he's gonna have to step up. But tonight, and this is something fun to talk about. Kareem Hunt's in Kansas City. He's meeting with the organization tomorrow, and for me personally, don't think you let him leave without signing something, even if it's to the practice squad and they elevate him. But I think he scored 9 times in Cleveland last year, and you put him in this offense, and I think he was not happy, obviously, with how he had to exit. You know, when he was here,
was he within here for training camp? Has he been on the squad this year?
No. I think probably. Purposely on his part, like it has to be a right fit for him. A veteran like that who has proven he's 29. He's not like he's 31, 32, and he
came in the same year Patrick did. He was the same draft class as Patrick.
So he's a guy that, like, you know, like I said, I think for the Chiefs and what he'll be asked to do, he can do all of that stuff. And so,
and there's, you know, I look back at, you know, what happened when he was here and how that kind of went down and unfolded. Unfortunate, you know, for him because he was on a team at the time that was 9-1, got released from the team. So I know that stuff's kind of all behind there, but I look right now and to me it kind of worries me he hasn't been on a team. Are we better off going with a couple of the kids that we got on the practice squad right now? Guys are in training camp with us,
you know,
there.
And once again, they watch stuff every single day. They know, you know, what that is, and I think regardless, you got to bring someone. And there's some guys that were out there. Leonard Fournette was some guy that, like, you know, he's a guy that he's a banger, been around. But when Kareem was mentioned, you know, it's all stuff on X and people's, like, our shit. You know, it's like speculate, like who could go.
Yeah.
I think he, like I said, he didn't like how it exited. He will come here, and once again, he's not going to rush for 1,100, but he's a guy that I think all of the guys in that locker room that played for him love him, want him back. And I think he'll come here, give us all he needs, you know, give us all he has, should I say. But, you know, I'm okay with that. So hopefully they do sign him. But once again, they know more than we know. They know what's going, you know, they know why he's in. And I'm sure he'll have a meeting before I think he even talks to Andy and, you know, he'll sit down with Clark, and you know it's something that he has. It's something, and whether that's tonight they're having dinner or whatever it is, and tomorrow then he gets to sit down with Andy and you know, and you know Veach and what that is. But once again, it doesn't worry me. He's not on a roster right now. But I think I hope they do sign him. I hope he does. You know, like I said, you score 9 touchdowns in the NFL. I don't care if they're 1-yard plunges, 2-yard plunges, or what he's done. And last year was his lowest career average. So some people, and once again, it's the haters. Everyone fucking hates the Chiefs. Everyone hates the Chiefs.
For sure.
I love it because I remember everyone hating the Patriots. And it's like
I hated the Patriots, man. I hated seeing them every Monday night on Monday Night Football, and every time you couldn't get near. I used to call you and be like, dude, you can't get near Brady. And you were like, no, dude, he's the face of the league, man. You're not going to get near that guy.
No, and Pollard, your boy, Bernard Pollard, ruined his knee. And that's like, but you should. You got to protect the quarterbacks. And it's like, you can't hit them low and you can't do, you know. But anyway, so that will be interesting to see how that plays out. Something for me, personally, love Nick Bolton, M-I-Z. You work KU through and through, M-I-Z. But is Bolton and what happened in the first week, is, and I don't know, obviously Spags is one of the best, but he can't cover tight ends, Bolton. And it's being asked to do something that he's not capable of doing. And yesterday when they were showing the stats, he said you haven't rewatched the game, which you're going to do, but he kind of trailing tight end. I mean, he's just not the guy. It scares me. It scares me a little bit. That's something that needs to be addressed, and or there's got to be some. I mean, and he's a dog. I mean, I'm not shit talking, but it's like that's just not a position that he's.
I'll tell you a guy that I love that I've watched the first couple of weeks, man, and he's just one of those guys that just you consider him kind of a no-name guy because he's not a big name. Is Chanel?
Oh, dude, Chanel's a fucking dog, dude. He had the highest rating in the playoffs last year. In the playoffs, not just, but he was in the Super Bowl highest rated defensive player. Chanel in week 1, dude, that dude was flying around just hitting people. Like just hitting people.
And
he
did Chanel was Drew Tranquil. But Chanel's all over the field, man. Whatever they ask him to do, whether it's line up, he's lining up outside, outside linebackers. He's guarding somebody. It's crazy to watch what he does. How many different spots he is on the field. Chanel's been lights out, but obviously teams have found something right now with the Ravens and the Bengals because they've attacked us through the tight end. And last week it was Nicely who kind of ate us up, and then the tight ends yesterday killed us all day long.
They had, I think, I don't know if it was the third quarter, they had 122 yards. I mean, anytime Jamar Chase, and fuck him. He is a shit talking, like that guy has nothing, and I liked him at LSU. I was like, man, just like I like Jefferson and that whole Burrow thing. I loved him at LSU. That was one of the greatest teams in the history of college football. But he's just so disrespectful, and he's just a jackass. And I get it. And so part of me loves the fact that he wants to win so bad. But he was like, before he's like, we're the team to beat in the AFC. And it's like, no, they're really, really good. And I respect that, but even when Hunter's like, I won't mention his name, I won't say his name. He's a good quarterback. He's an asshole. But he had 4 catches for 35 yards.
Right. But I'll tell you what, yesterday though, it caught up to him yesterday because he got so mad on that McDuffie, thinking that he had done that hip throw, and threw him down, which he didn't.
No,
the referee said he didn't do it, but he threw such a fit and wanted to be such a loudmouth. And
if you see it, so you haven't watched it, but you can go rewind it. The referee literally says, "Get the fuck out of my face." He tells him that.
I haven't seen.
He literally says that to him, like, "Get the fuck out of my face!" Like and he's like up on him, like he's someone that can do. No one can do that.
No, man.
Those dudes are there to do a job, and it was a call that was like. So he literally told him that, and then you see Zach Taylor on the sideline telling him like. You're a veteran. You're someone that the organization looks up to. You want to get paid. You don't do that. Because essentially he cost him 4 catches for 35 yards, and that penalty there
15
was like
right there. It's huge.
But the referee said that to him. And when you watch it, bro, you'll see it and be like, whoa. Because that referee, you don't see referees lose cool like that. But the referee said he was using derogatory. No, who knows what he said? But the referee said that.
The referee wouldn't say what he said.
Multiple times.
Of course.
So anyway,
but Burrow, dude. I mean, when I'm I'm at the game, but Burrow's like grabbing him, like pulling him back. He's swinging his arms kind of at Burrow, and I'm like, man. But you know what though? The being a jackass, that kid caught up to him. Cost his team 15. They want to sit there. All the social media stuff today, and people being like, oh, the Swifties, and everybody wants the Chiefs, and everybody wants the Chiefs and Taylor Swift and all these guys to win. It's like. Come on, man. There's 3 different times that their DBs ran through our receivers. One on Xavier Worthy, twice on Rashee Rice. First 2 times they didn't get called. Okay, fine. We're not going to get every call. But the third one, it was like, come on, man. He ran right through him. Ran right through Rashee. I mean, he got there way before the ball. Did they threw the flag?
Yeah. No, it was something that. But once again, I don't care who we play the rest of the year, Atlanta. If we get any calls, everyone in the country, everyone hates Kansas City other than if you're a Chiefs fan. No one is like, oh yeah, I like them. Everyone thinks we get calls. Everyone thinks that. So that's a thing. And it will be a thing for the rest of the year. And it's just something you have to deal with or embrace.
Right.
And there's something that I think Kansas City they embrace it. Like back in the day when New England was on it, Brady and Gronk and them, they embraced that shit.
Course,
they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. I mean, they like, there was nothing better for them when they were like, hey, like that's what they embraced. Like, yeah, hate us. Yeah, you should.
Getting these first 2 wins at home, they've both been close. Last week they called it, a game of inches because Nicely's foot was on the line.
Likely.
What is it?
Likely.
But I don't know what his name is. Listen, the reason I don't know his name is because, again, he was another guy at the end of the game talking shit like this is what got me last week, and that's why I called him probably nicely or I don't know, whatever.
So you're being an asshole by calling him the wrong name. You know
I know, but you know what though? I was being an asshole doing it because I don't like what he was saying last week. He was talking about, he was sitting there talking at the end of the game. He was like, if that's the best they've got, we played our worst game of the year. Good luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, so then,
seriously,
so for them,
good luck in the playoffs. We haven't lost the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We got back-to-back championships, so good luck in the playoffs. Good luck beating us. Nicely, likely, whatever your name is.
That at home, Mean Shoe, my dude, with the Raiders goes in and beats Baltimore. Yeah. And what's crazy, dude, is the Raiders have a fucking nice squad.
Yeah, they do.
And it was like about a quarterback. And Minshew, dude, against Baltimore, they have a great defense.
I was getting ready to leave for the game yesterday, and I had the Raiders and the Ravens on, and it was right when Minshew had threw that first pick, and Max Crosby went over to him and grabbed him and pulled him, and he kept saying, "We got you. We got you. Keep throwing the ball."
That's why he's my favorite player. I've said that in multiple episodes. I think Crosby's my fucking guy.
Crosby's a
but yeah, but that's a veteran move.
It's a veteran move.
We got you, and that's what they did. And so, but back to the Ravens and thinking of that, it's like, so teams that, you know, they always say, and it's a true statement, man. It's so true, and it's like, you never ever apologize for a win.
Ever, man. You kidding me? Wins are too hard to come by in this league.
And obviously we have some issues. The Chiefs have some issues. And I think that, but you don't apologize for a win. But the thing, you know, talking about what concerns me moving forward is the left tackle. And Kingsley got smoked yesterday. He got smoked yesterday.
Hendrickson used him up pretty good.
That I'm watching the game. Yeah. You know, I'm watching the game, and I'm like, look over the offense around the field. He's standing next to Andy Reid. They pulled him. It's like, whoa, man. Like, but Hendrickson was using him. Yeah. So that's a bit, because against Baltimore, he was okay. He wasn't great. He wasn't But when I saw that, it reminded me of back in the day, bro. And back in the day when we didn't have a quarterback, we had some really, really good defenses. How many times did we see Chiefs come into a game and we'd be playing, you know, the Raiders, we'd be playing somebody, and they'd be like, wow, over there on the left side, they got a rookie tackle going against Derek Thomas today. Derek had 3 sacks in the first half. Yes. He would just use the kid. Yeah. He'd spin him, he'd turn him, he'd come through, he'd come underneath, and before you know, the kid was a dog.
Yeah, the kid was spinning like a top. But you could see Hendrickson. Hendrickson knew what he was doing. He was setting him up on some stuff. He'd come this way one time, he'd come this way one time, and he was so fast. He was coming off knowing that Kingsley, what is it? Suatomaia?
I won't even attempt to say his last name, so I'll chop it up. Yeah, but I think you're correct. But so once again, dudes I respect, dudes I you know, like to listen to or hear what they have to say. Jeff Schwartz, Mitchell's brother,
right.
Was like, he goes, it's a lot of it technique. It's not skill set.
Yeah.
So he has a skill set. So I trust Heck and them to get him right.
For sure.
But today, in Andy's press conference, Coach Reid said he hasn't made a decision on if he's going to start on Sunday night.
Well, and so they're going to go through film. He's got to talk to Heck and see.
But that's a thing that it was, and everyone was talking about it today, and it was on X. Like, there was no, like, he's our guy. We're going to get some things cleaned up. He's like, I don't know if he's going to be he goes, I haven't made that decision yet.
There's one thing on one Arrowhead Drive that I trust right now. I trust Brett Veach, and I trust Andy Reid. And what I mean by that is Reid, he's going to know. He knows when to put the pedal down. He knows when to pull off. Reid is going to know more so than we're going to know. Reid is going to know whether it's going to hurt him more not to start him, if that's going to get more in his head, or if going and getting beat like a drum again is going to be more in his head and kind of ruin him this year. So Andy Heck and Coach Reid are going to know what they need to do.
But I will say this. And it's not a knock on Coach Reid. It's not a knock. But they gave him zero help. So I reflect back to the Super Bowl against Tampa when they beat our doors off.
Yeah.
But you had Remmers out there because what happened to
Mitchell Schwartz and Fisher. We mentioned both that day.
So, but they didn't get any help, and it's like kind of like we do, but didn't give any help. But so part of that, and once again, I'm not talking shit. But they needed to get them some help and put someone out there to help them.
Right.
Excuse me. So my thing is, if you make that decision that you put Wanye in that, you can't go back to Kingsley. You can't. You benched him. Essentially, say after one bad game, you benched him. So that what scares me is like, okay, if they do, can't go back to him this year. You can't. You can't be like, this is our guy.
So you think all of a sudden Kingsley's gonna be the backup now the rest of the year?
I don't know how from a confidence standpoint and from a standpoint of like, bro, if you get benched, it's all and you're healthy and you had one bad game. It's a situation that like, okay, so all of a sudden, so week 4 you go back to him. It's like the old saying goes.
I hear what you're saying there, but last year we had a problem with Juwan Taylor because he kept getting all these penalties and getting these flags, and coach pulled him out. Pulled him out. He benched him. Went back to him the next week. And not saying that's
an $80 million guy.
Right, and not saying Kingsley is Juwan, but I'm just saying like I don't think you just bury Kingsley on the bench now and don't come back with the kid. Obviously, they saw enough of him day in and day out in training camp to want him to be the guy. So I don't think that the one bad game yesterday. Hendrickson.
I don't think he needs to be. I don't think he needs to be bent. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he needs bent. I think they need to work and clean shit up and like. But I don't think you go to Wanye, and because that's a.
So you think they go with Wanye or don't go with Wanye?
Like I said, the fact, and I'm listening to it, that Coach Reed's like, I haven't made that decision yet. Usually he's like, yes, he
full vote of confidence, and he goes back with something. He goes back.
Yeah, and Andy. I'm sorry, Coach Reed. I keep calling you Andy. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't play for you.
Quit calling Andy, man. Nobody calls Andy. That's Coach Reed to both of us.
A big Reed. But I don't think that he is such a player advocate. He steps in front of all of it, even when it's clearly not his thing.
Right.
He will stand in front and that's why he's who he is, Coach Reed.
Of course.
But they said, even today, they asked about 15's interceptions, and he said, and he addressed it. He said, that one with Travis, he said they were not on the same page. Some miscommunication was there, but watching it, and I said you were at the game, but watching it, I'm like, I didn't know how he didn't see that white jersey in the middle of the field.
Well, if you go, when I went back and watched some of the highlight stuff from it, and look at the linebacker had come over this way. When Patrick was rolling this way, he saw.
They were on the wrong page, Travis and him.
He saw Kels coming this way, and when he came across, that linebacker was right here. It was almost like he was behind one of our linemen, because then all of a sudden, when he released the ball, it was like, oh shit! And you saw the linebacker come right in front.
So he was like, and so Coach Reed was like, hey, it's it's a miscommunication. He goes, once again, out in front of me, he goes, I'll clean that up. That's on me. And it's like, Coach, that ain't on you. That's just like, it's not, but that's awesome. He does that. But then he was asked about the one, he goes with Xavier. He goes with Xavier.
Right.
And that Taylor Britt pick, dude, once again, when you go back and watch that kid ran his mouth. And he was like,
he ran his mouth. He said Xavier was just a gadget guy, just an end-around guy.
Yeah.
Sweet guy.
But that was an amazing pick. It was a one-handed.
Yeah. Well, when they talked to Mahomes, and he talked about the picks. He threw that second one. He's like, I mean, what do you do with that? That dude just made one of those, Odell Beckham catches one-handed. Like nobody makes that. Nobody makes that pick like that.
Yeah.
It was a great pick.
Coach Reed said, "Hey, you know what?" He goes, "It will be drilled this week that if you don't catch it, nobody catches it." If you don't catch it, nobody catches it. So they'll clean it up. I said, I don't
know. But they did get that Taylor. That what is this guy's name? Taylor Britt Taylor. I don't know. Sounds like
Rice.
It sounds like some girl you dated in high school or college back in your day.
I think I dated Britt and a Taylor.
Britt Taylor. Britt.
But speaking of Taylor, real quick, Common Wild is flagged.
Yes.
Taylor Triano is a witch.
Yes, Taylor Triano.
A witch. Witch.
Shout out to Taylor Triano. She is doing a flag for us. I love you, bro. Flag. So
go follow Common Wild, Flag Company. She is insane. She's an absolute witch. And look at her work that she's doing. She is so sick. But anyway, Taylor,
she stopped on set when you weren't here again. Yeah. And she was like,
you know what? Fuck you, Katie, for saying chicken dick.
Yeah, Katie said that was a chicken dick move by not showing up when we had
I had friends send me that clip that said that was a chicken dick excuse.
Yeah, man. He wasn't happy about it. I know. He showed up here. He's like, where's Jamie at? I was like, bro, he had stuff to do with the girls. He goes, well, that's a chicken dick excuse.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But I appreciate Buck sitting in. I enjoyed it.
Buck will be in that scene, a few more times, man. We know there's stuff you got going on with the girls.
I'll tell you what, though, back to Tom Buck. They came after him social media after that Kansas loss. And that's for Dave. But
Jalen Daniels and Kansas, they're in big trouble this year, man.
I don't know.
They're in big trouble.
Like,
when does Leipold pull the trigger there?
Well, I think that I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got to pull the trigger, bro.
Yeah,
Stevie, bro. No disrespect. I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be funny, but Stevie Wonder can see that Jalen Daniels passes right now, bro. He's throwing those things downfield. There's no loft on. There's no arch on. These things are going line drive into the ground when he's trying to go past 15 yards. Yeah. And even the ones he's showing out to the flat don't look good.
But our dude, another sponsor, Shorgle.
Yes. Brian Shorgle, his UNLV hat.
I love B. Shorgle. He's the greatest. Loves Panic as much as I do. But he's such a great dude. And O'Neill's is awesome. I need to get in there and we didn't take Pops up there and have some dinner sometime soon. But he posted Buckingham Palace in flames.
Buckingham Palace is in flames right now.
Yeah, everyone was like and rightfully so. Like I was like, you can't. There's nothing you can say.
Lead pop like what was it? Lead pipe lock.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
The Wolf of Wall Street that we were going to be in. Wolf of Waldo that we were going to be in the playoff. And man, I mean, Buck, listen, I love our Jayhawks as much as anybody. We love our Jayhawks, but they're in trouble, man. Jalen Daniels doesn't look good.
No, they're in trouble. And that's for another day, and we'll get to that. But back to once again, shout out. Brian Shorgle, love you, man.
Yeah.
Buck, thank you for sitting in. I can't wait to sit with your chicken dick ass soon coming up. And Taylor Triano, that's Taylor Brett, but that's awesome. But back to the Chiefs. They got a big one with Atlanta coming up
Sunday night football.
And Atlanta's not going to be easy.
No.
And you know what, man? I was one of those dudes that were like, when we go through it and like. Saints will take care of them at home on Monday night.
Saints are real good right now.
They hung up 41 on the Cowboys
in Dallas.
I guess on their first, I don't know what an astronomical amount of their first possessions scoring or their possessions offensively they scored. That's a problem.
Right.
They're a problem.
Yeah, no, the Saints are a problem. And what kills me about that is Derek Carr's the quarterback running that offense. Dude, I saw some video on TikTok today showing him. He scored a touchdown, came in, did some Michael Jackson hip thrust move, shook his leg, and I was like, are you kidding me? Is this the same guy that's been like 1-14 against the Chiefs against the Raiders? But the Saints look good, man. Kamara had 4 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah.
Saints look good. They're going to be a problem on Monday night. But we got the Falcons coming up.
Oh, dude,
we got the Chargers and then come home with the Saints.
Like I said, the Falcons are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And I said, from the kid from Texas, running back Robinson, and they got out wide. They got dudes. Drake London, Mooney, Pitts. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game, but I can't wait. It'll be fun, and offensively, they'll just have to get creative. And one thing I'll say real quick, what I loved is that like yesterday. Offensively, it was not Patrick's best game, obviously, from a yardage standpoint from this. But I liked they were utilizing that 3 tight end set.
Yeah.
And they had like Kelsey and Noah in the backfield.
Yep.
It was almost like Paul Wiggins wing T.
Like the wing T or a veer type of offense.
But obviously super athletic and go out and get it. So guys just have to step up. It sucks. It sucks about Hollywood. It breaks my heart. Not for me as a fan. Like no one gives a shit about that. But Pacheco, everyone's like he was super emotional. Crying in the locker room.
The poor kid was in tears. Yeah, in tears in the locker room yesterday. That's a dude that just loves to play football, bro.
Yeah, he loves to play the game and is so passionate, runs so hard, respectful, he's a great kid. And so he'll bounce back. He's going to be great, man. He's going to be, he'll get back healthy and get right. But, love out to, 10. Pacheco, get well soon, brother.
Yeah, we love you, man. we'll keep checking our prayers that he
100%.
gets back sooner than
And
later.
he'll get back.
And that Hollywood returns. But like I said, man, a long season, man. We got 15 more games on the slate.
Yeah.
Like I said, Atlanta coming up on Sunday night. That's going to be tough.
So after Sunday night, obviously the country will be watching everything. Next Monday with our fucking boys, Grunny, 61 and 63 in the house. After that game, I'm so stoked to have them on. Billy Bob Moss, Timmy G. Like, I can't wait. And I'll say this real quick before we have to leave. The story I want to tell Grunhard is it was his rookie year. I was working at McCoy's at the time. Remember McCoy's Public House? Shout out James Westfall. But McCoy's Public House. And so I get off and go to Kelly's, which is across the street. And Grunhard walks in with some boys, and I was with some friends of mine. And so obviously I recognize him. A lot of people wouldn't recognize a center in that day and age in the 90s. That was, and I'm like, Grunhard. And so he's so stoked that, he was like, he goes up and buys 2 trays of Jell-O shots just for us. And, imagine Grunhard at that point. Timmy G at that rookie year was just, he was having fun and living his best life. And,
for sure.
But bought us, we just taken Jell-O shots at Kelly's. But I can't wait to have them on, man. So many stories, so much stuff to cover with them. It'll be great. So let's go Royals, man. Let's finish strong this week, dude. And next week when we visit, we'll know, we're in the playoffs when we're going to play.
Well, I mean, think about it, bro. Next week, by the time we go to air again next week on Monday, they're going to have played 3 with Detroit off Thursday and 3 with the Giants at home. You have your last 6 games at Kauffman. Hopefully not the last 6 regular season games. So next Monday, man, we're going to know exactly where we stand with 1 week left of the season to go, what the Chiefs did on Sunday night. So, like I said, man, Billy, Tim, we can't wait for you guys to come on next week. Bro, it's great to have you back on set
so
tonight,
good.
man.
Love you, bro.
So I get you next week. I get you 2 weeks in a row.
Don't leave me hanging.
Well, I know. I get you 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
I'm back.
Love you,
I'm
bro.
back.
We'll see you
Love
next
you,
week,
bro.
all right?
All right.
Thanks.